Hey guys, Kevin here to bring you a brand new video where today we're going to be doing day 20 of Failed Film February. And the film that we're going to be talking about today is a film called Deadly Friend that is actually part of this. Sorry, I had to get it out. It's part of this collection of horror films that I got. It's really nice. I really like it. And this is the film Deadly Friend. And yeah, it was actually directed by Wes Craven, who you may know from Scream, uh, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Hills Have Eyes, The Last House on the Left. Very well-known horror director. And this is another example of a fun horror movie that he brought here. I mean, it's definitely a little bit like campy and quality with like some of the effects and like just like the whole overall look of it. But I had a good time with this. There were some outrageous, like gruesome moments here that were just a load of fun to watch unfold. Just such as like with how these like characters get killed. That's just like so enjoyable. I mean, like it's definitely like one of those like silly horror movies that's a little bit like over the top and just like extremely like far fetched. And I guess that is a little bit of like a downside to it is that it's really like doesn't make sense at all, and the movie doesn't really make that much sense. Also, like it's just like there's a lot of like flaws in logic with like how this all works. I don't want to really explain the plot to this because I don't want to really like spoil this movie because I feel like it's better to like watch it like not knowing anything. I guess the only thing to know is that this guy has like a robot that he like built, and it's almost like artificial intelligence, being that it kind of like has like its own mind basically, and it can like think and do things on its own. So yeah, I mean that's kind of cool, but I mean this story does kind of develop over time into this whole other thing. Um, but yeah, it's enjoyable. I mean, it's not like anything that special, it's just a fun like silly horror movie that's from the 80s. I just like really enjoyed the feel of this and like what it brought, with like its whole like style and like the different sorts of like imagery that Wes Craven brings. Some of it is like reminiscent of Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is kind of like similar to that with like the sorts of things he brings here. There's like dream-like sequences here that you could definitely like compare to Nightmare on Elm Street with like the wacky things that happen, and the over the top like looking stuff that you see here. And yeah, and the characters are enjoyable to see like how their story unfolds, like how they come together, and what they go through together. Some of the characters are a little cliche, I'll admit. You have like this like drunk dad who like abuses his daughter, and then you have like this neighbor who like has to defend her property. When have you not seen that? So it's a little bit like cliche, granted, and the ending to this didn't quite feel right. I mean, like something about it just I felt like the choices they made at the end here, like it didn't like fit the movie right. Like I feel like it could have gone a different sort of way that would have been like more favorable. But yeah, this is pretty fun. I mean, you do have Christy Swanson here who kind of like brings like a sort of like presence to the screen with her character and like the way she is, and she sort of like has this like persona and like energy that she brings to her with like who her character is, that's pretty enjoyable. And Christy Swanson, you may know her from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, but she's also like played a funny bit part in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So she's kind of like gotten around a little bit within like the 80s and 90s. So she's not like super huge star, but she is kind of well known. So yeah, I enjoyed watching this. This is one of those many horror films that I'd just be up for watching. Just like cheap, nothing too special, but like campy horror, fun, silly, over the top horror, that kind of thing. Like I could watch films like this like all the time. Like horror is my favorite genre. Like I love watching so many different types of horror films, and like especially like these like these are like my jam. Like I just love these. So yeah, I mean, I got this whole collection here, so I mean, I'll have to be watching those soon too. So yeah, I'm going to give this film a 7.0 out of 10. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.